Good morning, dear friend. The first light of day is beginning to touch the earth, casting long, golden beams through the window and brushing gently against the walls of your room. The world is still quiet, holding its breath between darkness and daybreak. There is something sacred about this hour, before the noise, before the demands, before the heart has a chance to armor itself again. This moment belongs to you and God alone. Perhaps, right now, you are sitting in silence with a warm cup in your hands, staring out into the stillness and feeling the weight of things you cannot explain. Or maybe your mind is already racing, pulled by fears and questions you never got answers to. You are here, not because everything is perfect, but because something deep within you still longs for peace, still longs for God. I want to tell you a story. A woman I once knew used to wake up each morning before the sun, not because she was a morning person, but because that was when her grief was quietest. She had lost her husband just a few months earlier. The house still held his scent. His voice still echoed in old voicemails. She did not know how to move forward, did not even know if she could. But every morning, she sat by the window in a worn chair, opened her journal, and wrote one honest sentence to God. Some days it was "help me." Other days it was "I do not understand." Once it was just, "Are you still there?" She was not trying to be brave. She was just trying to breathe. But what she did not realize was that in those vulnerable, trembling words, she was beginning to build a bridge back to hope. Day by day, as the sun rose and the pages filled, something shifted in her. The H did not disappear, but her spirit began to lean not into answers, but into trust. That is the power of prayer. That is the strength of faith, not a loud, polished declaration, but a whispered decision to reach for God when everything in you wants to shut down. And perhaps you, too, are here today with something unspoken pressing on your chest, a fear that won't loosen its grip, a burden you have carried alone for far too long, a silence from heaven that has left you wondering if you have been forgotten. You have not. This space, this hour, this breath, it is for you. You are invited to step gently into a sacred conversation. Not a performance, not a formula, but a real, unfolding encounter between your heart and the one who shaped it. The one who knows every layer of your pain and every fragile flicker of your hope. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to walk with God through the fear. It is waking up with doubt, but still showing up to pray. It is opening your soul like a window and letting the light in, even if only a little at a time. So come as you are anxious, weary, angry, confused, hopeful, or numb. Bring your questions, your trembling, your praise, your regret. All of it belongs here, and He is already here, waiting. Let us now begin this journey into the quiet places of the soul, where fear meets truth, where sorrow meets comfort, and where the morning light is not just seen, but felt. Come. The conversation begins now. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you in the quiet of this morning without strength to pretend and without words to hide behind. The night has been long inside my thoughts, and even as the light begins to rise, my heart still feels heavy. I carry questions I cannot answer and fears I do not know how to silence. I wake up with a sense of unease, as though something is pressing on my chest, reminding me of everything that feels uncertain, fragile, and unfinished in my life. I bring this truth to you as it is, unpolished and honest. Father, there are moments when I feel lost before the day even begins. I stand at the edge of what I can understand, looking ahead into a future that feels unclear and overwhelming. I confess that I am tired of being strong. I am wary of carrying expectations, disappointments, and silent worries that no one else sees. Some mornings, even breathing feels like effort, and hope feels distant, like a memory rather than a reality. Still, I am here, because somewhere deep within me, I believe you are near, even when I cannot feel you. I admit that fear has followed me into this new day. Fear of what might happen, fear of what might never change, fear of being alone in my struggles. It whispers to me in the stillness and tells me I am unsupported and unseen. It reminds me of past losses and unfinished grief. It tells me that I must face today on my own. Father, I place these fears before you, not because I am brave, but because I am honest. I do not want to carry them alone anymore. I also confess the numbness that sometimes settles over my spirit. There are mornings when I do not know how to pray properly, when words feel empty and emotions feel distant. I worry that my faith is weak because I do not feel strong confidence or clear direction. Yet even in this uncertainty, I choose to come to you. I choose to sit in your presence without answers, trusting that you meet me not only in clarity, but also in confusion. Father, I need you in this moment, not as a concept or a distant idea, but as a living presence. I need you to draw near to my weary soul. I am not asking for solutions yet. I am asking for closeness. I am asking to know that I am not abandoned in this quiet struggle. I long for the reassurance that you see me as I am, standing here at the beginning of the day, uncertain and fragile, yet still reaching toward you. As the morning light slowly fills the room, I offer you the parts of my heart that feel broken and afraid. I offer you my doubts, my unanswered questions, and my silent tears. I offer you the weight I've been carrying into each new day. I do not know what lies ahead, but I know that I do not want to walk forward without you. Teach my soul to rest in your nearness before it learns anything else. Father, I stand here at the threshold of this day with empty hands. I am not trying to impress you or explain myself. I simply open my heart and acknowledge my need for you. In this stillness, I wait, trusting that even when my faith feels small, your presence remains steady and true. Lord, I am still here. The room has grown brighter since I first sat down in silence, but inside me, so much still feels dim and uncertain. I have not moved far from where I began, and maybe that is okay. Maybe faith begins not in knowing what to do, but in choosing not to walk away. I did not come to impress you. I came because I cannot keep holding everything inside. I am tired of pretending I am fine. I do not need to be strong in front of you. I just need to be honest. So I will say what is really on my heart. I do not know what I am doing, God. I do not know how to fix the things that feel broken. I do not know how to move forward when the road ahead feels clouded with questions. I have tried to keep going, to stay hopeful, to act like everything will work out somehow. But the truth is, I do not know that, and that not knowing scares me more than I want to admit. I am trying to find direction, trying to feel like you are near, but sometimes it feels like I am calling into an empty room, hoping for a voice to call back. There is a part of me that wonders if you are listening, and I feel guilty for even thinking that. I want to believe that you are close, that you see me, that you are working in all the unseen places. But today, I do not feel that. Today, I feel like a child standing at a door that will not open, knocking with hands that are beginning to ache. Lord, I do not need a flood of answers. I just need to know that you hear me. I need to know that my voice, small and shaking as it is, matters to you. Sometimes I wonder if I have been praying the wrong way, if I am too distracted or too doubting or too much of a mess. But then I remember that you do not wait for me to be perfect before you draw near. You are the God who came close to the confused, the weak, the ones who were barely holding on. So I bring you all that I am right now. I bring the tangled thoughts, the aching questions, the places where I feel empty and alone. I am not asking you to remove all uncertainty. I am asking you to sit with me in the middle of it. I know I have tried too long to be in control. I have tried to predict the future, to protect myself from pain, to figure out what only you can see. I confess this to you. I confess my fear of surrender, my fear that if I let go, everything will fall apart. But deep down I know that I am not holding this life together. You are. So I want to trust you. I want to believe that you will not let me fall. That even when I do not see the full picture, you are guiding me step by step. Help me remember that clarity does not always come in sudden revelation. Sometimes it comes slowly, like the morning light easing its way across the sky. Sometimes it comes in the quiet assurance that I am not alone. Sometimes it is enough to know that I am seen, even when I do not feel seen. Lord, I ask you to be the voice that rises above all others today. Drown out the noise of my own fear. Silence the thoughts that tell me I am abandoned. Speak truth where lies have taken root. Say again that you are with me, and let that be enough for now. I know you are not far, even when I cannot sense you. I know you are working, even when I cannot see the results. I know you are good, even when I cannot trace the path. Teach my heart to hold on to that. Teach me to come to you not just for answers, but for your presence. You are not a puzzle to solve. You are a father to trust, and trust begins here, with open hands and a whispered cry. So this is my cry. Lord, I do not know what to do, but my eyes are on you. I do not know what will come, but I will wait with you. I do not feel strong, but I will rest in your strength. I do not feel wise, but I will listen for your voice. And even if the only answer today is stillness, I will receive it as a gift, because sometimes the most powerful thing I can do is simply remain here with you. heart exposed, waiting in hope that does not need to rush. Keep me here, Lord, keep me close, even as I wait to see. God, I am still here in the quiet. Still waiting, my words feel slower today, not because I have less to say, but because I am starting to feel the weight of where I have already been. My cry has gone out to you, and though the answers have not come clearly, something is shifting, not around me yet, but within me. Somewhere deep beneath the fear and uncertainty, there is a whisper I cannot quite name. A remembering. And maybe that is where you are beginning to speak. You know me better than I know myself, Lord. You know how quickly I forget, how fast my mind returns to worry, how easily I lose sight of what you have already done. I confess that I have been so consumed by what is missing. I have not made room for what is already present. So before I ask for anything more today, I want to go back. I want to remember. Remind me of the moments when I could not see a way, and somehow you made one. Bring to mind the days when I thought it was over, and yet I lived to see joy again. Show me again the times when I was weak, but strength rose from places I did not expect. I want to trace the fingerprints of your kindness in the parts of my story I have forgotten. I want to stand in this moment, not as someone abandoned, but as someone carried. I remember the time when everything seemed to fall apart, and somehow you held me together. It was not dramatic. There was no miracle I could explain. But there was breath. There was calm after the storm. There was just enough strength to get through the next hour, the next night, the next morning. And maybe that was miracle enough. Maybe that was you. You were there when I cried in the dark and no one saw. You were there when I laughed again after weeks of silence. You were there when the phone call came, when the door opened, when the burden lifted. You were the stillness that steadied me, the voice that did not shout but stayed. Even when I did not call you by name, even when I did not thank you, you were there. Always there. Lord, help me see that my past is not just a list of struggles, but a story of survival, a testimony of grace. Help me remember the answers that did come, the prayers that were answered not in the way I expected, but in the way I needed. Help me remember the nights I did not think I would make it through, and the mornings that proved I did. Let my memory become a weapon against fear. Let it rise like a quiet song that reminds me who you are. You have never left me. Not once. Even when I doubted, even when I ran, even when I shut down. You have been faithful. Your mercy has followed me through confusion and failure and silence. And today, I want to thank you, not for a future I cannot see yet, but for the history we already share, for every invisible miracle, for every moment of breath when breath was a gift, for every time you waited for me to come back when I had wandered. I realize now, God, that faith is not only believing for what has not yet come. It is also holding tightly to what I already know. And what I know is this: you were with me before, and I am not forgotten now. My mind may still be unsure. My path may still feel unclear. But you have given me 1,000 quiet reasons to keep believing. I only needed to pause long enough to see them. So today, I choose to remember. I choose to speak out loud what you have done. I choose to tell my own soul the truth that fear has tried to bury. That you are good. That you are near. That you are able. I will not allow this moment to pass without honoring the way you have carried me before. Because if you were faithful then, you will be faithful again. Not because I deserve it, not because I understand it, but because that is who you are. Let the sound of your past faithfulness echo through my thoughts today. Let it ring louder than the voices of fear. Let it fill the hollow spaces inside me that ache for reassurance. Let it be the melody I hum in my mind when silence tries to creep back in. Let it be the ground I stand on when everything else shifts. And if my heart forgets again, remind me gently. Bring back the memories that heal, the quiet ones, the overlooked ones. The ones only you and I know. I do not need a sign in the sky. I need the courage to believe that you are still doing what you have always done, holding me, guiding me, loving me through it all. That is enough for today. That is enough for this breath. That is where I place my trust, in the echoes that still sing of who you have always been. Father, if remembering is the thread that keeps me from unraveling, then I ask you now to help me hold it tightly. The memories of your past faithfulness have quieted some of the fear, but this heart of mine is still learning how to stay steady. One moment I feel strong, the next I feel swept away again. And yet, even in that pull, I find myself wanting to lean deeper into you. Not away. The more I reflect, the more I see that what I truly long for is not just comfort, but foundation, not just rescue, but something unshakable to build my hope upon. So I come to you now, not with demands, but with this longing to stand on something solid. I do not want to live swayed by every storm, every shifting circumstance, every whisper of worry. I am tired of placing my trust in things that change, in people who falter, in plans that crumble. I need something greater. I need you to be the rock beneath my feet, the anchor beneath these waves. God, I acknowledge that I have tried to find stability in the wrong places. I have clung to routines, titles, expectations, and illusions of control. I have put my hope in what I could see and touch, only to watch those things slip through my fingers. And in doing so, I forgot that you alone are constant. You alone are the same yesterday, today, and forever. You are not caught off guard. You are not overwhelmed. You do not change with the news or the season or my mood. You are steady when nothing else is. I want to trust you not only when life is gentle, but when everything around me shakes. I want to believe not just in what you can do for me, but in who you are, even when answers feel far away. You are not defined by outcomes. You are defined by your nature, and your nature is good, faithful, strong, and kind. Help me root my identity in that truth. Help me build my inner world on something that cannot be taken from me. Lord, the winds will come, the waves will rise. Life will not always make sense. But I do not want to be someone who is tossed around by every turn. I want to be anchored. I want to be still, not because life is calm, but because you are my calm. I want to be grounded in who you are, not in how I feel. Teach me to live like this, not in fear of what might fall apart, but in faith that you hold all things together. When the voices around me stir panic, when my own thoughts spin fast and loud, bring me back to the center, back to the still point that is you. Be the deep breath in my unrest. Be the steady rhythm beneath my racing heart. Be the quiet voice that reminds me, again and again, that I am not at the mercy of chaos. I am held. You are my anchor, God, not just when I feel secure, but even more when I feel like I am drifting, when the waves of doubt rise high. You are the weight that keeps me from being swept away. When confusion clouds my view, you are the truth that holds me in place. When disappointment knocks me off balance, you are the hand that steadies me. You do not promise a life free from storms, but you promise to remain in the middle of them. And that promise is enough for me right now. Let me not measure your presence by how smooth the path is. Let me not doubt your love just because the wind howls louder some days. Let me remember that even in the fiercest tempests, you are still here, and you are not pacing. You are not panicking. You are seated. You are sovereign, and you are sure. I want to live from that place, Lord, that place of quiet courage, that place of hidden strength that rises not from my own willpower, but from the knowledge that you are near and unchanging. Let that be my anchor today. Let it hold when fears creep in again. Let it hold when I hear news that rattles me, when conversations trigger old wounds, when the unexpected interrupts my plans. Let your presence be the weight that keeps me grounded in grace. And when I feel myself drifting again, and I know I will teach me not to shame myself, but simply to return to your truth, to return to your presence, to return to the solid place where my soul can rest again. I do not have to earn it. I do not have to strive for it. You are always here, always faithful, always enough. This is where I stand today, Lord, on the unchanging foundation of who you are. The waves may come, the winds may howl, but I will not be lost. I will not be overcome, because I am not building my hope on what can be shaken. I am building on the rock that holds all things steady. And you, God, are that rock. You are that anchor. You are that peace. Let me stay here, grounded in this truth, no matter what the day brings. Father, standing on this foundation of who you are, I begin to notice something changing within me. The ground beneath my soul feels firmer now, and with that firmness comes a quiet courage I did not have before. Fear is still present, but it no longer feels untouchable. It no longer feels like an unchallenged authority. I realize now that fear has spoken loudly in my life, shaping my reactions and narrowing my vision. Today, I no longer want to let it rule me. I bring that fear into the light of your presence, not the surface fear I easily admit, the deeper ones I often hide. The fear of loss that makes me guard my heart. The fear of failure that keeps me from stepping forward. The fear of being misunderstood, forgotten, or left behind. These fears have settled quietly into my thoughts over time, influencing my choices and stealing my peace. I name them now, not to give them power, but to release them from it. God, I acknowledge that fear has tried to convince me it exists to protect me. It has told me that staying anxious keeps me alert, that worrying prepares me for disappointment. But I see now that fear does not protect my soul. It exhausts it. It does not guide me. It confines me. It shrinks my world until I am only reacting instead of living. I do not want to live that way anymore. I want to live free, grounded in trust, not bound by dread. So I choose to confront what has been tormenting my mind. I speak truth over the lies that have lingered too long. I am not alone. I am not abandoned. I am not powerless. I am not forgotten. Fear has whispered otherwise, but I no longer accept its voice as truth. I place my attention on you, God, because where my attention rests, my peace begins to grow. I ask you now to help me release the tension I have been holding in my body and spirit, the clenched jaw, the tight chest, the racing thoughts that follow me into quiet moments. I breathe deeply in this space with you, allowing your presence to settle where anxiety has lived. Let calm replace chaos. Let assurance replace alarm. Let courage rise where worry once dominated. Lord, I understand now that fear loses its grip when I stop running from it and bring it into your light. I do not have to fight it alone. I do not have to overpower it with my own strength. I simply need to stand in the truth of who you are and who you say I am. Fear cannot survive where truth is welcomed and believed. I ask you to fill the spaces fear has occupied with your spirit. Let love take root where anxiety has grown. Let clarity settle where confusion has lingered. Let strength rise where I once felt weak. I want my inner world to reflect your peace, not my panic. Teach my heart how to respond differently when uncertainty appears again. Teach me to pause, to remember, to trust. God, I choose to release fear today, not as a dramatic act, but as a deliberate one. I loosen my grip on the thoughts that spiral and the stories that assume the worst. I refuse to rehearse outcomes that have not happened and may never happen. I choose instead to anchor my thoughts in what is true and present. You are here. You are faithful. You are sufficient. As I sit with you now, I sense the weight lifting, not because everything is resolved, but because I am no longer carrying it alone. Fear does not disappear all at once, but its voice grows quieter when I stop feeding it my attention. I ask you to help me notice when it tries to return, not so I can panic again, but so I can gently turn back to you. Let this moment mark a shift in how I live today, not driven by fear of what might be, but guided by trust in who you are. Let me walk into the hours ahead with a steadier heart, aware of my thoughts, grounded in truth, and open to your leading. I do not need to prove anything. I do not need to control everything. I only need to remain connected to you. Father, I thank you for meeting me here. In this honest confrontation, I feel lighter now, not because life is suddenly easy, because I am learning to let go of what has weighed me down. Fear no longer defines me. It no longer dictates my steps. I belong to you, and in that belonging, I find freedom. Let this freedom continue to unfold as I move forward. One breath, one choice, one moment of trust at a time. God, as fear begins to loosen its grip and my spirit learns to stand more firmly on your unchanging presence, I find myself wanting something more than momentary peace. I want to learn how to live from this place each day. I want this calm to be more than a feeling that comes and goes. I want it to be a rhythm, a way of being with you that carries me through whatever comes, not just for this morning, but for every morning that follows. Lord, I have come to realize that my relationship with you cannot survive on emergency prayers alone. I do not want to come to you only when everything is falling apart. I want to come because I know you are where life begins, not just the fixing of things, but the forming of my soul. I want to start each day with you, not as a ritual, but as a return to the one who knows me best. So help me, Father, to rebuild prayer not as a reaction, but as a foundation, not as a last resort, but as a first breath. Let prayer be the place I begin, not because I have the right words, but because I have the right hunger. A hunger to be near you, to hear you, to be shaped by your voice more than by the noise around me. Let that desire become the center of my mornings. There are so many distractions that rise with the sun. The demands, the messages, the headlines, the weight of what needs to be done. And I confess, Lord, I often turn toward them before I turn toward you. But what if the first voice I listened to was yours? What if the first presence I acknowledged was not stress or worry, but you? What would my day look like if it began with surrender instead of striving? I ask you to meet me here and again, not just today, but tomorrow, and the next day, and the one after that, in this chair, in this quiet, before the world wakes fully. Meet me, even if I have nothing new to say, even if my heart feels distracted or dull. Let the act of showing up become an altar. Let these simple beginnings turn into something sacred. I do not need dramatic revelations. I need your steady presence. I do not need perfect prayers. I need real ones. Honest ones. The kind that come from the mess. The questions, the quiet tears, and the quiet thanks. Teach me to speak to you not as a distant God, but as the Father who sits with me in the early morning light, the one who leans in when I whisper, who understands when I pause, who responds when I reach. Help me to remember that prayer is not performance. I do not come to impress you or to earn something. I come because I need you, because my heart was made to be with you, because in your presence I remember who I am and who I am not, and that remembering realigns everything else. God, I ask you to make this time with you more than a routine. Shape it into a refuge. Let this be the place where my fears are named and laid down, where my thoughts are reordered, where my confidence is rebuilt. I want this space to be a home for my soul, a place I return to not out of duty, but out of desire. Remind me that you are not bored with my repetition, that you never tire of my need, that you are not waiting for me to be eloquent, just honest. Let me unlearn the pressure to sound spiritual and instead find freedom in simply being real. Whether I come to cry, to sit in silence, to ask for help, or to simply say thank you, Remind me that every moment I spend here matters. Lord, I ask that you would give me a new love for prayer, a deeper understanding of its power, not because it changes you, but because it changes me. Help me to see that in talking with you, I am being softened, sharpened, and strengthened, that I am being made whole, even in the waiting, that something holy is happening even when I feel nothing at all. Build this habit in me slowly, patiently, until it becomes part of who I am, until coming to you is not something I must remind myself to do, but something I crave, until it feels like coming home, until even on the hardest mornings, I find myself returning not because I should, but because I know there is no better place to begin. And when I miss a day or a week, when life pulls me away or I forget, draw me back gently. Do not let shame speak louder than grace. Let your kindness be what leads me back to this space again. Let the memory of peace call me back. Let the voice of love call me in. So here I am, Lord, building a life with you one quiet morning at a time. I do not need grand plans. I need this daily nearness. I need this steady rhythm. I need to know that no matter what happens out there, I can always return here, to you, to this place where fear is exchanged for peace, and where my heart is rebuilt, one whispered prayer at a time. Father, as the fear loosens its grip and my soul begins to breathe more freely, something deeper starts to awaken within me. In the space that fear once filled, I now begin to feel the quiet voice of identity rising. Not the one I have built from other people's expectations, not the one shaped by past mistakes or fragile successes, but the one that comes from you, a true identity, spoken over me not because of what I have done, but because of who you are. I realize now how much of my life has been spent trying to earn belonging, trying to prove I am worthy of love, acceptance, security. I have carried myself like a stranger in my own soul, afraid to take up space, afraid to believe I matter unless I perform well, meet standards, or carry burdens without complaint. Somewhere along the way, I began to believe I had to earn my place even with you. But you are not a taskmaster. You are not watching me from a distance with folded arms and a measuring stick. You are a father, a good one, and you have called me your own. Not reluctantly, not conditionally, but fully and forever. That truth is too big to wrap my arms around, but I want to rest in it today. I want to let it sink deeper than my doubts, deeper than my insecurities, deeper than the names I have called myself in moments of weakness. God, I confess that I have accepted labels that were never mine to wear. I have taken on the weight of not enough, too much, unworthy, forgotten. I have looked in the mirror and seen flaws more than purpose. I've compared myself to others and come up short, but you have never seen me that way. You have never spoken shame over me. Every time I have hidden from you, you have come searching. Every time I have disqualified myself, you have whispered grace. You say, I am your child, that I belong to you, that I am chosen, adopted, sealed, and loved beyond comprehension, that I have access not just to your promises, but to your presence. Not as a guest, not as a servant, but as family. As someone invited to sit at the table without fear of being sent away. Let that truth become louder than the voice of my past. Let it begin to rewrite the way I see myself. Lord, let me walk through this day not from a place of striving, but from a place of security. Let me make decisions not out of fear of rejection, but from the confidence of being fully loved. Let me speak not to impress, but to bless. Let me breathe without apology. Because I am not here by accident, I am here by your design. And you do not make mistakes. When shame tries to pull me backward, remind me that I am no longer who I was. When guilt tries to settle into my chest, remind me that you have already covered what I cannot fix. When the enemy tells me I am disqualified, remind me of the cross that declares I am redeemed. My value does not change with my mood, my performance, or my circumstances. It is anchored in something eternal, in you. Father, I want to live like I believe that, not just repeat it in my prayers, but carry it in how I move through the world, in how I respond when I am misunderstood, in how I hold my head when I fail, in how I treat others who are also carrying invisible burdens. Let my identity in you be more than an idea. Let it be my grounding, my guide, my home. If I forget today, remind me gently. Remind me not with loud correction, with that still small voice that has never stopped calling me back to truth. Speak over the noise that tells me I am alone or unseen. Call me again by the name you have given me, beloved. Let that word settle into my bones. Let it become the foundation I build every other thought upon. And if I see someone today who walks as if they too have forgotten who they are, let me be a reflection of your heart toward them. Let my kindness remind them that they are not lost. Let my compassion remind them they are not defined by their worst days. Let me see others the way you see me, fully known, fully loved, still in process, still held. God, I thank you for shifting the way I see myself, for dismantling the lies that once felt like truth, for gently peeling away the false names and false roles I have worn for too long. It may take time for my heart to fully adjust, but I sense that something is changing, not just in how I feel, but in how I stand. From this place of identity, I want to move forward. I want to live as one who belongs. I want to speak and act and respond from the deep well of love that you have placed inside me. I am no longer an orphan, no longer a servant afraid to speak. I am your child, welcomed into your arms, seated at your table, held in your grace. Let me live today with that truth alive in everything I do. Let it be the light behind my eyes, the calm in my spirit, the strength in my voice. Let it be the reason I no longer have to fear who I am becoming, because I am becoming who you say I already am. Father, now that I am beginning to see myself through your eyes, something deep inside me starts to settle. It is not that all the noise has stopped, or that every question has been answered, but the unrest in my soul is quieter than before. There is a stillness beginning to take root, a kind of calm I cannot explain, not a calm from outside circumstances being fixed, but from something shifting within. I think this is the peace I have always longed for, the peace that holds steady, even when everything else trembles. God, I am learning that peace is not the absence of struggle. It is not the guarantee that everything will go smoothly. It is the presence of something greater in the middle of the unknown. It is knowing I am not alone. It is trusting that I am not at the mercy of what I cannot control. It is choosing to let your nearness be my answer before the outcome even arrives. So I bring you my mind this morning, this restless, busy, overthinking mind that spins in every direction. I surrender every loop of anxiety, every what if, every fear dressed as logic. I surrender the scenarios I keep replaying, the tension I carry in my body, the unease that lingers even in silence. I do not want to live caught in that rhythm anymore. I want your rhythm, instead one that moves with grace, one that slows when I try to rush, one that knows how to breathe. Lord, speak peace over the places inside me that are still tight with worry, the places where I rehearse old failures or brace for imagined pain. Speak peace over the thoughts that spiral too quickly, the ones that tell me I must be perfect or productive to be safe. Replace the noise with truth. Replace the fear with quiet confidence. Let your voice rise higher than the others. Let this peace not be something I visit occasionally, but something I live from. Let it take root in my mornings so it can carry me through the day. Let it become the way I think, the way I speak, the way I wait, the way I rest. Let it be my posture when I face the unexpected. Let it hold me when the world feels shaky. I know now that peace is not passive. It is not simply the result of avoiding difficulty. It is a choice, a discipline, a surrender. I choose that surrender again right now. I choose to trust even when the future is blurry. I choose to remain still when I want to rush toward answers. I choose to remember that you are not in a hurry, and you are not late. You are always right on time, even when my heart aches for resolution. There have been moments, God, when my peace has been tied to performance. I have measured it by how well I am doing or how much I am achieving. But you do not give peace as the world does. You do not tie it to success or perfection. You give it freely, generously, in the quiet place where I finally stop trying to earn what was never meant to be earned. So here I am, open-handed again, not striving but receiving. You see the places where my heart still clenches, where the ground still feels unstable. You know the relationships that weigh on me, the decisions I still do not have clarity on, the healing I am still waiting for. I do not have to hide these things from you. I do not have to pretend that peace means pretending I am okay. Peace does not erase the pain, it just refuses to let it rule. I ask you now, Lord, to guard my heart and my mind, not with walls, not with denial, but with truth. The kind of truth that disarms the lies before they take root. Remind me that I am safe in you, even when I feel vulnerable. Remind me that I am held, even when I do not feel strong. Remind me that I am seen, even when I feel small. Let that truth become the shield that protects my joy, the lens that changes how I see the day. Let me carry this peace into my conversations today. Let it soften my tone, slow my reactions, open my eyes to see others with compassion instead of comparison. Let me respond, not from pressure, but from presence. Let the peace inside me be so real that it begins to quiet the chaos around me, not because I have everything figured out, but because I have allowed myself to be centered in you. And when the noise returns, as it always does, help me return to this stillness. Help me return without shame, without frustration, without guilt. Help me remember that peace is not something I must hold tightly, but something I fall back into, something that holds me, something that flows from who you are, not how I feel. I want this peace to shape my day, not just in moments of prayer, but in how I show up in every part of my life, in how I listen, in how I love, in how I wait, in how I forgive. Let it be the undercurrent beneath every thought, every breath, every step. Let it remain even when nothing else does. You have said that you will keep in perfect peace the one whose mind is stayed on you. I want that to be true of me. I want to stay my mind on you not just once, but moment by moment. When fear whispers, I will choose to focus. When stress rises, I will remember who holds me. When doubt knocks, I will answer with faith, not a loud faith, not a flashy faith, but a quiet, grounded, steady faith that believes you are enough and I am safe. Let peace not be the destination. Let it be the way. Let it be the path beneath my feet, the breath in my lungs, the song in my soul. Let it be the proof that you are with me, here and now. And that is more than enough for this day. Lord, resting in this peace you have placed within me, I begin to sense a gentle invitation to move, not to rush ahead, not to demand certainty, but to walk forward with trust that grows from stillness. The calm you have given me does not ask me to stay frozen. It prepares me to take steps without fear. I feel the quiet strength rising, not loud or dramatic, but steady enough to carry me into what comes next. I admit that I often want to see the entire path before I move. I want reassurance, confirmation, and clarity before I commit my heart. I have waited for signs so clear they leave no room for doubt. But you are teaching me that trust does not come from seeing everything at once. It comes from knowing you walk with me, even when the way ahead feels incomplete, even when I cannot predict the outcome. I am not stepping alone. God, I bring you my hesitation, the moments when I pause not because I am listening, but because I am afraid. I confess that sometimes fear disguises itself as wisdom. It tells me to stay where it feels familiar, even if it no longer leads me forward. But I do not want to live confined by what feels safe. I want to live guided by what is true. And what is true is that you are faithful with every step I take in trust. Teach me how to move without needing to control the result. Teach me how to obey quietly, without applause or recognition. Teach me how to trust that the small steps matter, even when they seem insignificant. I am learning that faith is not built through grand gestures, but through consistent obedience in ordinary moments, through choosing love when it costs something, through choosing patience when I want to rush, through choosing hope when doubt feels easier. Father, help me pay attention to your leading today, not just in big decisions, but in subtle nudges, in the pause before I speak, in the compassion that rises when I see someone struggling, in the courage to reach out when I want to withdraw. Let me be sensitive to the quiet direction you give, even when it challenges my comfort. I want my life to reflect a trust that listens, responds, and moves with you. I know there will be moments when the way feels uncertain again, when I question whether I am doing the right thing or heading in the right direction. In those moments, remind me that faith does not mean I will never doubt. It means I choose to follow you even when doubt whispers. It means I place my confidence not in my understanding, but in your wisdom. I do not have to figure everything out to take the next step. God, I release the pressure to have everything resolved before I act. I release the need to compare my journey to others. I release the fear of making mistakes. I trust that even when I stumble, you remain present. You guide not only through success, but through learning. You shape me not only through certainty, but through surrender. Nothing is wasted when I walk with you. Let my steps today be shaped by trust rather than urgency. Let me walk with awareness rather than anxiety. Let me choose faith not as a feeling, but as a practice. When opportunities arise, give me discernment. When challenges appear, give me courage. When delays frustrate me, give me patience. I want to walk in a way that honors you, not by being perfect, but by being willing. Lord, I believe that you are already ahead of me. You are preparing what I have not yet seen. You are arranging what I cannot yet understand. I do not need to chase the future. I only need to follow you in the present, one step at a time, one decision at a time, one moment of trust layered upon another. As I move forward, let my heart remain anchored in the peace you have given me. Let me carry it into unfamiliar spaces. Let it guide me when I face resistance. Let it steady me when the path narrows. I do not need to fear the unknown when I know the one who leads me. I am learning to walk not by sight, but by trust that rests in your presence. So I step forward today, Lord, not with all the answers, but with a willing heart. I choose to trust you with my direction. I choose to follow where you lead. I choose to believe that each step taken with you is enough, and even if the road unfolds slowly, I will keep walking. Because walking with you is not about reaching a destination quickly. It is about becoming someone who trusts you deeply, wherever the path may go. God, as I come to the end of this prayer and the beginning of this new day, I feel something in me has changed. Maybe not everything around me, maybe not every question resolved or every burden lifted, but inside, there is a shift, a deeper stillness, a steadier strength, a clearer voice whispering, "You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are held." And I believe that voice is you. I look back on where I began tired, uncertain, afraid to hope, and I see now how gently you have walked with me, not rushing me, not correcting me with force, just being present, teaching me to stay, teaching me to trust, teaching me that prayer is not about polished words, but about honest presence, that I do not need to come with answers, I only need to come open. Lord, you have reminded me who I am, not by demanding something from me, but by quietly restoring what life tried to steal. You have spoken identity over the spaces where shame once echoed. You have replaced fear with peace, not by promising ease, but by offering yourself. You have asked me to walk forward, not in certainty, but in trust. And somehow, even with the unknowns still ahead of me, I feel ready, because I know what comes next, but because I know you are with me in it. Thank you for meeting me in the quiet. Thank you for staying close when I had nothing to give. Thank you for seeing me not through the lens of what I lack, but through the love that never changes. This morning prayer was never about fixing everything. It was about being found again. It was about remembering that I have a place to come back to, a place where I do not have to pretend, perform, or prove. A place called your presence, God. Let this not be the end of a moment, but the beginning of a rhythm. Let this not be a spiritual high point I drift away from, but a new ground I stand on. Help me return to you not just in quiet mornings, but in nosy afternoons, in distracted evenings, in ordinary minutes where I forget to be still. Let me carry what we have built here into the places that feel far from sacred, because if you are with me here, you will be with me there, and every space touched by your presence becomes holy. I do not know what today holds, but I know what I carry. I carry peace that no chaos can crush. I carry truth that no lie can undo. I carry identity rooted not in the shifting sands of performance, but in the unshakable promise of grace. I carry your voice, the one that calms storms, quiets shame, and calls me beloved even when I do not feel worthy of the name. So now, I breathe deeply. I let this morning air remind me that life is still being offered, that mercy is new with the sunrise, that hope is not a distant dream, it is here, in this breath, in this moment, in this God who has not changed. I receive this day as a gift, not because it will be easy, but because you are in it. Father, if I forget any of this later today, when stress returns, when fear creeps back, when I doubt again, call me back. Gently, lovingly, whisper again what I know now. I am not alone. I am loved. I am yours. And that is enough. To every soul who has walked this journey of prayer with me, I want to thank you. Thank you for staying through the silence, through the hard moments, through the slow unraveling and the quiet rebuilding. Thank you for choosing to believe, even if only a little at a time. You are not walking alone. We are learning together how to live with faith that breathes. If this prayer has stirred something in you, I invite you to share your thoughts, your hope, or even your pain in the comments below. Your story matters. Your voice carries weight. Your prayer could be the reminder someone else needs today. And if this prayer has been a blessing, I warmly invite you to subscribe to this channel so we can continue walking together in faith. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Let this become part of your daily rhythm, a habit of returning not just to words, but to presence. Keep coming back. Keep choosing trust. Keep holding space for the gentle light that always comes after the dark. Because even now, as the sun stretches across the sky, something sacred is unfolding. You may not see it all yet, but it is there like the soft glow at the edge of the horizon, like the hush of a breeze through the trees, like the quiet song of living water moving beneath the surface. Let it lead you forward. The dawn has come,